DCR by government is expected to further enhance the electricity tariff affordability and therefore support the national industrialization aspirations. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the proposal by Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development is that government should immediately secure the funding required for the buyout amount due to the Umeme Limited and UEDCL's capital investment requirements in the distribution network after takeover to ensure a smooth transition in the management of electricity distribution sector after expiry of the Umeme Concession Limited. What are the terms, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, the terms and conditions of this loan are the following. The loan amount is $190,988,556 US. The tenure is 5 years with a grace period of 6 months. The interest rate is 6 months Euribor plus margin, and the interest period is semi-annually. Commitment fees is nil for an availability period of 30 days, and the margin is 4.7% per annum, and this includes insurance by RTD. Arrangement fees is 1.2% of the total facility amount paid upfront, and the default interest is 2%. Madam Speaker, I presented the detailed justification and the background and all the necessary information to the committee, and I want to believe that this has formed part of the committee report. In the interest of time, Madam Speaker, I beg to submit and pray that the House considers and approves this borrowing. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. You've also written a letter to me on the proposal to borrow. Could you read that letter? I've given you permission to read the letter you have written to me.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The letter is dated 20th March 2025, addressed to Right Honorable Speaker, Parliament of Uganda, Kampala. Subject: the proposal for government to borrow up to euro equivalent to $190,988,556 from Stanbic Bank for the Umeme buyout. Right Honorable Speaker, I refer to the above mentioned loan, which I laid on the floor of Parliament on 18th February 2025 and presented to the Committee on National Economy on 25th February 2025. The government requests to borrow the amount of euro equivalent to $190,988,556 was based on the guidance of the Auditor General's draft special audit report for the end of the lease and assignment agreement between Umeme Limited and Uganda Electricity Distribution Company of January 2025. Once the loan is approved by Parliament, government will only pay out to Umeme the amount verified and approved or recommended by the Auditor General as the payment due to Umeme before the end of 31st March 2025. If the required payment is lower than the eventual amount verified and or recommended by the Auditor General, then the balance of the loan will be cancelled and the cancelled portion will not form part of the government debt. After the Umeme buyout has been concluded, a report on the actual payment made will be provided to this House. The financing terms of the umeme buyout remain as I presented, Right Honorable Speaker. Given the urgency of this matter, I seek your support to have the loan approved by Parliament to enable us obtain the funds to pay umeme before their concession expires on 31st of March 2025. Signed by myself.
Can you lay this on table so that it forms part of the record of this House?
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay a letter which attests to our commitment to pay the amount due to umeme as certified and approved by the Auditor General. I beg to lay.
Please lay. Thank you. That forms part of the recommendations that will be acted upon on umeme. And it is not that whatever the 190 is going to be the payout. It is what will be audited and what will be presented by the Auditor General. Yes, Chair?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the Minister for moving the motion and giving a justification. Right Honorable Speaker, before I read the report of the committee, allow me lay the report of the committee, including the minority report of one of the members of the committee and the minutes of the committee. May I lay this on table?
Please lay.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister has already given the House the title of the report. Allow me re-echo that. Right Honorable Speaker, you referred this loan to the Committee of National Economy on the 18th of February, and the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development officially presented it to the committee on the 25th of February, and the committee therefore started scrutinizing the loan. Right Honorable Speaker, while scrutinizing the loan, the Committee on National Economy held a meeting with various entities. We had a meeting with the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company, UEDCL, Uganda Electricity Regulatory Authority, Office of the Auditor General, and we also interfaced as leadership. We interfaced with the committee, the leadership of the Committee on Natural Resources. While reviewing the report, while working on the report, the Committee on National Economy also reviewed the following documents. We had a brief on the proposal to borrow, the term facility agreement between Government of Uganda, presented by Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development as a borrower, and Stanbic Bank, Standard Bank of South Africa, and Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited as mandated as a lead arranger and a book runner. Standard Bank of South Africa Limited as a facility agent and a financial institution as the original lender. The committee also reviewed the LA, that is the lease and assignment agreement 2024 relating to the distribution and supply of electricity in Uganda. The committee also looked at the lease and assignment agreement as amended in 2005, and then the umeme buyout draft mandate letter. Allow me, Right Honorable, I'm going to give the House a narrative on the buyout. Right Honorable Speaker, in line with the lease and assignment agreement, umeme submitted a claim of Uganda US dollars 235,978,667 US dollars, which is above the 225.75 million US dollars earlier estimated by Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. The draft special audit report for the end of the lease and assignment agreement between UMEME and UEDCL has estimated the buyout amount as US dollars 190,988,566. The information from the regulator, that is Electricity Regulatory Authority, indicated that in the initial estimate of UMEME buyout amount as in September 2023, communicated to the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, was US dollars 225.75 million, and it has since reduced to 127 million, 127.66 million US dollars in March 2025. The amount keeps changing based on the additional investments made by UMEME and recoveries from the end user tariffs. The total estimated investment by UMEME, as approved and verified by ERA, amounted cumulatively to 746.798 million US dollars, inclusive of the 10.84 million US dollars to be invested by end of March 2025. The total amount recovered cumulatively by UMEME, according to ERA records, is US dollars 625.22 million US dollars, leaving a balance of 127.66 million US dollars unrecovered, as presented in the table above. Right Honourable Speaker, if this is uploaded, members would see cumulatively how UMEME has been investing, how UMEME has been recovering over the last 20 years of the concession, leaving unrecovered amount of about 121.576 million US dollars unrecovered, plus a markup of 5%, that pushes it to 127.655 million US dollars. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has already given the terms of the loan. May you allow me go through the conditions of the loan. Right Honourable Speaker, this loan is accompanied with conditions that this Parliament is supposed to approve. The conditions precedent to the first drawdown of the loan are: A, execution of the facilities document by the borrower in form and substance mutually accepted to all parties. B, a statement confirming no event of default or potential event of default is continuing or would result from the drawdown, and that all representations and warranties are true on the date of the drawdown request. The copies of the relevant parliamentary approvals and all other evidence of authority are devised by Government Council to the lender, including authorizing legislation of the borrower or the ministerial decision as appropriate. Specimen signatures of authorized signatories who can commit the borrower in respect of the facility. E, the evidence of the appointment of the process agent, being the High Commissioner or any officer of the Republic's High Commission in the United Kingdoms. F, a satisfactory legal opinion from English and Ugandan Legal Council to the MLS, the facility agent, and the lenders. G, the legal and capacity opinion from the Attorney General, solely as the matter of Uganda law. H, the evidence of payment of all fees, costs, and expenses then due and payable by the borrower under the facility document. I, a statement signed by the Minister of Finance confirming that after drawdown of the full facility amount, the borrower is still within the cap, still set by Parliament pursuant to the Public Finance Management Act and all the relevant borrowing legislation and regulation, together with the certificate from the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, or the Minister of Finance as the borrowing cap. J, a certificate of certification copy documents. K, affirmation from the Attorney General that all relevant governmental or regulatory approval have been duly obtained. H, a satisfactory know your customer documentation being completed for the borrower by the MLS and the lenders. And M, a copy of any other document, authorization, opinion, or assurance specified by the facility agent under the advice of the Lenders Council. Right Honorable Speaker, the constitutionality of this loan. Right Honorable Speaker, the nominal value of the loan is 988,566 dollars. The present value of the loan is US dollars 213.37 million, equivalent to 810.8 billion Uganda shillings. The total debt service of the loan is 235.41 million US dollars, equivalent to 894.6 billion Uganda shillings. The grant element is negative 11.7% and the discount rate at a discount rate of 5%. The present value of the loan, Right Honorable Speaker, the total future payment value of the loan is 235.4 after the loan period of five years. This loan is a commercial since its grant element is negative 11.7%, which is significantly lower than the concessional value of limit of 35%. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to go to the committee recommendations. Observations and recommendations. Observation number 1, end of natural term of Umeme. The lease and assignment agreement between Umeme Limited and the government of Uganda provided that at the end of 28th February 2025, the agreement comes to a natural expiry. Section 3.13 of the Umeme Lease and Assignment Agreement stipulates that from the end of the natural term until termination of this agreement, the company's obligation in respect of the operation and maintenance of the distribution system under privatization agreement shall be limited to using commercially responsible efforts to operate and distribute and distribution systems in accordance with a prudent utility practice, and to maintain the distribution system in its condition as of the end of the natural term. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary in this agreement, the company will have the right to stop performing all its obligations 30 days after the end of the natural term, except for those obligations that expressly survive termination, provided, however, that as of the date, the company ceases performance of its obligation to operate and maintain the distribution system. As such obligations may be modified in accordance with Section 3.1, subsection D, UEDCL or its assignee will then have the immediate right to step in and take possession of the lease agreement, operate and maintain the leased assets, including collecting payments for electricity from retail consumers, and use the assigned interests and other rights, assets or other rights provided further, notwithstanding UEDCL's possession of the leased assets, operations and maintenance of the leased assets, and the use of the assigned interests and other rights. UEDCL shall not transfer any means, let or assign the leased assets, assigned interests and other rights to any third party until the buyout amount is paid in full by Government of Uganda. The committee observed as follows. Government is required to carry out the audit of the performance of the lease and assignment agreement. The lease and assignment agreement provides steps of the audit process, included the dates of submission of the estimated buyout amount by Umeme Limited. Accordingly, the Minister of Finance wrote to the Auditor General requesting him or her to undertake that audit process. The Auditor General appointed a consultant, that is MS Grant Sampson, CPA, in April 2024 to undertake a special audit on her behalf based on specific terms and references. The office has since provided 2 draft reports from the consultant and subsequently held a meeting with the stakeholders. The authority to approve and verify investigations on an annual basis is vested in the sector regulator, that is ERA. Cumulative investments and returns on investments and all other related costs are recovered through the tariff. ERA derives this authority in Section 15 and 16 of the Electricity Act 1999, Cap 145. The Board of ERA enjoys the exclusive statutory authority to determine all matters that have effect of increasing or decreasing the end user tariff. Whereas government is requesting for authorization of Parliament to borrow up to $988,556 million to buy out Umeme, the regulator ERA estimated the resultant buyout at the end of the concession as at 31st March 2023, plus the uncovered investment adjusted by 5% as provided for the support. The support agreement is $27.655 million, while the Auditor General is supposed to give the final figure, has not concluded its audit. The Auditor General informed the committee that he needs time to finalize the audit process and come up with a final figure by 28th of March 2025, without which government can base on to buy out Umeme. There are timelines required for the buyout and the conditions for the loan effectiveness. Even after parliamentary approval, any delays in paying the buyout in paying the buyout amount attracts penalties, costs pursuant to Section 12 of the support agreement, which among others provides that in the case of the expiry of the natural term, unless the transfer of the lease asset and payment of the buyout amount is delayed by the company from and after the date, that is 30 days following the end of the natural term, Government of Uganda shall pay the company interest on any outstanding portion of the buyout amount at a rate per annum equal to 10% for the period from 30 days until 45 days. After the end of the natural term, 15% for the period 46 days until 90 days. And after the end of the natural term, 20% for the period from and after 91 days after the end of the natural term until Government of Uganda pays the buyout amount in full. Following the end of concession agreement, Umeme has to exit and UEDCL has to take over immediately and start providing all the necessary services which were formerly under the provisions and supervision of Umeme, including taking over all the capital investments. In order for UEDCL to maintain efficient continuity of what Umeme has been doing, there is need to avail UEDCL with adequate financing so that it is able to recruit and train human resource, maintain the already existing infrastructure, and clear all the outstanding liabilities that could have been inherited from Umeme. UEDCL informed the committee that UEDCL informs the committee that UEDCL requires capitalization worth $50 million for initial investment after Umeme has left, since the tariff approval by ERA should only enable them to fund operations and maintenance of inherited assets from Umeme. However, this amount is not yet secured. Therefore, failure to allocate this money implies that UEDCL will not be able to carry out any additional investments in the distribution of electricity in this country. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee therefore recommends that, given that the Auditor General has not determined the final buyout amount, and considering the period remaining to come to the end of the lease and assignment agreement, the Auditor General expeditiously reconciles with ERA, UEDCL, and the Auditor General to determine the Umeme payout cost and submit it to Parliament to guide the approval of the loan request. Right Honorable Speaker, the constraint that the committee had is on the cost of the buyout. And this tore us into two. Some members, actually majority of the members, were saying we could wait for the report of the Auditor General, that the auditor had promised that by 28th of February, they should be in position, by 28th of March, they should be in position to give this. When we had an interface with the Office of the Auditor General, a few days ago, they requested that they could be given 1 week up to Tuesday next week for them to be able to come up with a buyout figure. This constrained the committee members, and it constrained me personally as a chairperson. I tried to convince the members, and the members gave their position that given their observations and recommendations, the committee recommends that government approval to borrow up to euros of US dollars equivalent to $190,988,556 from Stanbic Bank for Umeme buyout be halted until the report of the Auditor General is presented to Parliament. I beg to move.
Honorable Chair, when is the deadline for Umeme to be here?
Right Honorable Speaker, after the natural expiry of the concession agreement, 30 days are given, and for which we are within the 30 days.
The 30 days
which ends on the 31st of March 2025, which is ideally about 9 days
from now.
Right.
So you want us to wait and approve it on 28th? How long does it take for you for finance to process a loan? Honorable members, let's put all this into consideration. One, are we ready to buy umeme from? Then the other issue is the time aspect. We should be able to look at all that, those other issues. Yes, Richard?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The chairperson of the committee informed us that there is a minority report.
No, we
I
just
seek-
wanted a clarification before we go the minority report.
And that's why I'm seeking your
Yes.
guidance.
No, I just wanted a clarification. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to oppose the recommendation by committee.
No, we have not started a debate.
Then let me clarify
Yes.
as follows.
He's going to do.
Madam
Eki, do you
Speaker,
want to come and chair this house?
Madam Speaker, we need to.
I am the one who has asked for a clarification. Yes.
Madam Speaker, why we want this process to continue? There is a timing, there are timelines. If we are to pass this resolution today, we need not less than a week to manage the next steps. By the fact that Parliament, if Parliament decides that we go up to next week, there is a high risk that we shall not conclude this process by end of March. And this will take us outside our commitments.
Thank you.
Remember.
Honorable Tevandeke, thank you. Honorable Tevandeke.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tevandeke, let's get the minority report. Let's get a minority report.
Minority report on the Committee of National Economy for a proposal to borrow up to $190 millions 988 556 from Stanbic Bank for Umeme Limited buyout under Rule 200 of our Rules of Procedure. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm aware that any delay of the buyout of this loan costs the taxpayers' money interest to Umeme on an outstanding rate of 10% per annum for the period of 30 to 40 days after natural term, a 15% for 46 to 90 days, and a 20% for a period after 91 days, till government buys out the amount in full. However, Right Honorable Speaker, my areas of dissent are two. One is non-compliance with the constitutional provision, and the two is non-compliance with the rules of procedure of Parliament. My point of dissent, number one, non-compliance to the constitutional provision. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Article 119, Clause 3 and 4 of our Constitution explains the establishment and the roles of the Office of the Attorney General. In this article, it is very clear that the Attorney General shall be the government's principal legal advisor, draw and peruse agreements, contracts, treaties, conventions, and the documents, whatever have been called to the government. Right Honorable Speaker, In this very provision, the work of the Attorney General has been not defined. Additionally, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Article 163, Clause 3 and B explains the establishment of the Office of the Auditor General. In the article, the Auditor General is mandated, I think the Attorney General is here, where the law explains, uses the terminology shall, it is non-debatable. The Attorney General shall conduct financial, Auditor General shall conduct financial and value for money audits in respect for any project involving public fund. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the money we are approving as a loan is not mine, neither is it yours, but for Ugandans as a public. Where the Auditor General, as a custodian, mandated to give us authenticity value for us to approve the loan, has not acquainted us with the report. I'm wondering, where are we getting the mandate to approve this loan? Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this is, for this special request, the Auditor General's office requested the committee, when appeared, to be given a week to have a report ready, establishing clear amount that Umeme buyout is amounting to. Right Honorable Speaker, a week from now may not even take the whole time for the Auditor General to come up with a report. And where delays have been accrued by his own making, why should this House carry on the cross at the expense of the reasons that are not so clear and known? Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, approving this loan request without the Auditor General's office clearance makes us proceed arguably. Whereas the request of the $190 million in the recent supplementary request, Parliament approved the same. The CEO of ERA, reports the CEO of ERA, the report of the CEO of ERA quoted $127 million for recoveries. I feel there is any coordination between Umeme and the Auditor General and the Minister of Finance that expect the contrasting amount for the buyout. Right Honorable Speaker, there are two contrasting figures that are required for the buyout. There is $190 million and the $127 million. The two figures are contrasting, much as the committee agreed that should only approve in exclusion, where $127 million can be given authority to be borrowed, pending the $190 million. A question of contrast is one. What if the Auditor General's report comes out tomorrow and the figure is below the 127? Or when the figure is above the $190 million?
Honorable members, I don't know whether we speak the same English in this house. Because there was a letter which was written, and the letter is here. It was laid, it is part of the documents of this house, that in the circumstance that the buyout is less than the 190, what is only going to be disbursed will only be the amount that has been approved by the Auditor General. Yes.
Right Honorable, thank you. Right Honorable, I'm at pain as a committee member when the colleague who is presenting the minority report spent the whole time like us in the committee meeting, and we decided to stop everything until we get the report, the Auditor General's report. is here saying that the committee accepted to pass the 127 contrary to the 190. Yet the committee didn't pass any figure. Because any other information, the committee was not privy to any other information, including right honorable now that you have given us that letter, which is saying that if the Auditor General comes up with a report saying the figure is 150, they will only disburse 150. Right honorable, the committee was not privy to that letter. So I'm wondering whether
that's why I asked them to lay it on table. It's okay, let the member finish his report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, procedure matter.
Right Honorable Speaker, this House would benefit from the member who is submitting on minority report if there was critical points of dissent. This is the first time that we are getting one report submitted twice. One is just either for emphasis. He could have told us that this is for emphasis. So far, whatever the honorable member has said can only help in emphasizing the committee main report. Can the honorable member from Bali be clear to this House? Is he proceeding which from Bali? Right Honorable Speaker, are we proceeding well when the same report is split into two?
Honorable Tebandeke, are you just making emphasis of what was in the other report or what?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In the report of the majority report of the committee, there is nothing like a matter of constitutionalism, and the law has not been quoted. Right Honorable Speaker,
Honorable,
I have a point of dissent.
You can't say there is no matter of constitutionalism. Eh? You're just a law student who was... No. No, I don't want you to learn on very critical issues. Eh? On constitutional issues, you don't bring learning in the House. Let's learn from out there. Anyway, Honorable Member, you're raising matters that have been raised on the major report. So can you conclude with your emphasis?
Right Honorable Speaker, I have a point on non-compliance with the rules of procedure of this Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker.
Which rule?
Right Honorable Speaker, allow me go through, since I'm presenting. Then I'm going to quote the rule. But for your point of consumption, Rule 155, you can keep on going through as I present.
Hey.
Right Honorable Speaker, this House is...
there is an order.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Right Honorable, a few days ago when the chairman of Rules Committee was here, there is a language he was telling us to always use which should be parliamentary. And when you are addressing the speaker, you should be civil. Honorable Tebandeke, when you asked him about the rule, he was saying you allow him to read, but for your consumption, he gave the rule. I'm wondering whether Honorable Tebandeke is in order to respond to the chair in that mode, and is telling the custodian of the law for consumption to read as is presenting.
You see, I've always said, not all of us are brought up. Some of us grow up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for your guidance. There is a member who promised to box someone, but I'm
Please
not of
go
such a caliber.
ahead.
Right Honorable Speaker, in approving this loan, other subsequent requests by the ministry responsible for finance, our hands as Parliament remained tied in reference to Rule 155, Part 5, and Rule 155, Part 5B of the Rules of Procedure, and also Rule 155, 5K of the Rules of Procedure, which mandates this House, before approving any loan, must have a thorough assessment
Let's move
for the
slowly.
loan performance.
Let's move slowly. Rule 155, 5. Honorable Katuntu. Rule 155, 5. Please. I want you to guide the member. 155, 5. So that we quote the right rules.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I wish we can benefit from Honourable Tibandeke on how Rule 55 is being breached. Then I can be of assistance.
You know, what we are doing now here is lowering. We are learning law on the floor. You get it, eh? Maybe I can understand you, Honorable Tewaneke. He's in his second year doing law. Please, go ahead, finish. You finish.
Right Honorable Speaker.
You go to the report.
I wanted to stand a correction on what I've quoted. However, by your guidance, Right Honorable Speaker, the committee has not carried out any oversight to establish whether the performance of Umeme is fit in the previous loans that have always been approved by this House. And there is no clear clarity whether the status quo of Umeme that ECDL wants to take over, the assets which have been mentioned are not known and clear to this House and the committee in processing the report. Therefore, I recommend as follows, Right Honorable Speaker. I do recommend that the House gives the committee ample time to scrutinize this loan request in its totality. In reference to government through the Office of the Attorney General reviews and wipes off the interest accrued to Umeme in case the buyout has delayed.
Thank you.
I request more that the Office of the Auditor General, in compliance with the report to the majority, is given enough time per his request so that it can give us authenticity on the actual figure that is required to buy out this loan. Right Honorable Speaker, the Committee on National Economy is required to visit all the projects under Umeme before passing out this loan, buyout loan, to establish whether those projects do exist. Right Honorable Speaker, there are also other agencies that were contracted privately to work under Umeme, and those agencies have not been brought on board. The layout table from the main the report of the majority committee has not listed all the agencies that were contracted under Umeme. For instance, IMAT Technical Service, where I got even a petition, they wanted to access your office, but they have not yet. So all those dilemmas need to be harmonized and get to know exactly what are we passing and which buyout are we going to buy. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, Umeme is listed as a company where Ugandans who own share in Umeme should also be briefed on the status of their shares. How are they going to access their shares? Are they considered by this loan, or we shall get some other time and pass another loan in this guise of the same?
Thank you.
I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, in the public gallery this afternoon we have Mr. Ogwal Pascal and Otim Ambrose, constituents from Atikibere Sako. Welcome. They are represented, they are from Kwania district. They are represented by Honorable Ayot Tony and Honorable Auma Kelly. Tony, you first greet my people. Where is Kelly? She's coming, eh? Okay.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I welcome the team from Kwania to Parliament. They are SACCO leaders, and as you are aware, our plan is to mobilize majority of Uganda under SACCO, and they would come to register their cooperative. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you for coming to your Parliament. Honorable members, in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from the Kingdom of Eswatini. You're most welcome. We have the Right Honorable Madala, who is the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Eswatini. You're most welcome, Right Honorable. Welcome. We have Honorable Mamba, a Member of Parliament of Eswatini. You're most welcome. We have Mr. Timothy Sipo, who is an Auditor General of Eswatini. Thank you, welcome. And they are accompanied by Mr. Quinino Bamwine, the Honorable Council. You're most welcome. You're welcome to Parliament of Uganda. Then we have Honorable Warren Wambabazi, Member of Parliament and Chairperson of Public Accounts Committee. Honorable Warren is there. You're most welcome. And then we have Honorable Likando Mufalali, the Deputy Government Chief Whip. You're most welcome. These honorable members had come to Uganda to attend the just concluded AfroPark conference, which was hosted by Parliament of Uganda. I'll introduce the remaining ones. They have been here to attend the AfroPark conference, which was hosted by Parliament of Uganda, and Honorable Segona Medad is the chair of AfroPark. And is a chairperson of Kosase Park in Uganda. You're almost welcome. Thank you so much for coming to our Parliament and to Uganda. The team from Eswatini, you're very smart. These members want to see you again. Right Honorable. Right Honorable, don't get tired of, because we are preserving our tradition and the cultures. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable Ogusli, point of departure.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for recognizing that traditions and customs are things Africans cannot trade for anything. So people who bring proposals that undermine these values must reflect on them. I'm here as a member of the National Committee to highlight some key issues I've departed on. Madam Speaker, you will agree with me. I just got this document here. It may not have reflected my true intention, but I want to say the majority committee has made a summary recommendation on why this loan should be given a little bit of time so that the underlying issues can be reflected. For example, in the leasing and the assignment agreement, there's an account called the escrow account on which Omeme has been paying rent and other incomes and withdrawing. To date, nobody in this country knows what that account is holding. And yet this same agreement provides that if there are any obligations, they can be paid from that account. This is something the Auditor General is supposed to cater for. Two, Madam Speaker, there's what we call liquidity facility in the leasing and license agreement. What that facility does is, if government is not able to meet any obligations to Omeme, the guarantee under that facility can actually be invoked. Up to now, we cannot understand why we have chosen to do borrowing when that option.
We are in which page?
On page 2, which talks about the compliance of this law with this borrowing with our laws and the agreements we have executed.
So?
And I did give a disclaimer that I may not go to the details, but I wanted to highlight things that the Attorney General could respond to. Because one of the opportunities we missed was to engage the Attorney General. You are aware, Article 119 mandates that the Attorney General must be part of every agreement government enters into. And before any loan is passed by this House, we must have been, as a committee, satisfied that the Attorney General has reviewed those conditions and is in agreement.
Okay.
Honorable members, one of the conditions in this agreement is that we must waive our immunity. This agreement, the way I've read it, it erodes our sovereignty. Why? We are being subjected to the laws of English laws. Because I have the draft agreement here, I will lay them. That if we have disputes, we will resolve them in London. That undermines Article 129, which sets up our courts. That undermines the supremacy of our laws. Article 2.2 of our Constitution makes our laws very supreme. And if we waive these obligations, it means we have waived our sovereignty. Madam Speaker, one of the things I would expect the Minister of Energy to respond to, which we do not have the opportunity for, is UECDL's takeover readiness. Can I make my submission? Up to now, we are going to inherit.
Can you respect the member?
We are going to inherit assets from Omeme, but we have no asset register. We don't know what we are paying for. Who can answer that question affirmatively?
They will answer.
What is the government of Uganda paying for, and where are these assets? What are the liabilities of Omeme? Are there people they dealt with that we are supposed to pay? Do they have tax obligations? They are supposed to be environmental compliance issues that should be reported on. They are nowhere. So what if these liabilities come to government? Who shall we point to? Madam Speaker, I have a letter. I have a submission from the Ministry of Finance. One of it is what we call the mandate letter. This mandate letter shows what the lenders are willing to offer us. If you read the figures here, it's talking about 225. That is what they committed to give us. And yet minister is bringing a proposal for 190. Whose figure is the truthful one? If we are borrowing 190, where is the offer letter for that borrowing from any bank? These are things we must be able to reconcile. Madam Speaker, if you could just allow me conclude. Our laws say anybody who makes tax, who earns income in this country must pay tax. The conditions in this agreement, which I would expect the Attorney General to respond to, they waive the tax obligations on the lenders. Why? And what is the procedure for waiving tax obligation? This is what I invite the House to pay attention to before you approve any loan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Not only that, if I could. Madam Speaker, I want to lay on record these documents, but before I lay them, I have read the amended...
What are you laying?
The documents which I will read.
Which ones?
The documents that were submitted to the committee by the Ministry of Finance.
No, the documents have been they have been laid by the chairperson.
They have not laid any document, and if I'm laying contrary one, the record must be able to capture. Madam Speaker, most importantly, I have an amendment of the leasing and assignment agreement. And on that agreement, there was an investment by government of Uganda using a loan from African Development Bank. And that investment is being claimed by Omeme as unrecovered. Why should we have been investing in substations through loans. We have been building lines. Why should someone come and claim this thing as the investment, and you want this process to be rubber stamped without Auditor General doing good work? So today, this country must watch whether they have elected MPs to come and represent their interests here, or they are working in somebody's interest.
Stop it.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, let nobody intimidate you. Nobody should intimidate you. No. Yes, Honorable Kwang. Honorable Okirol.
Madam Speaker.
There is an order.
Madam Speaker, I'm rising up on a point of order. Honorable Oguzuli, I'm at pains to put you on a point of order. I have keenly listened to your presentation, and surely we are alive to our mandate as members of parliament, where we were elected. We took an oath. By us sitting here as MPs to listen to you, we are actually not abdicating our responsibility. And that's why when you mentioned the last point, most of the members were actually looking at you as having a point. So are you in order to insinuate that the members of parliament sitting here, Right Honorable Speaker, is a member in order to insinuate that members sitting here are members who do not understand their responsibilities? And we have the interest of the people.
Honorable Guzuli, the Constitution stipulates very clearly the roles of a member of parliament. And for one to be seated here, that means he knows what his role is. So you're not in order to start intimidating members that we shall, people know whether you have been elected. No, you're not. And everybody came here individually. And you're going to come back individually.
Madam Speaker, I take that guidance. In fact, when we were reviewing the leasing and assignment agreements, we were asking who were those people who signed that agreement. Because the commitments they put government in are the kind of things which we have been read here, the penalties. So all I'm trying to say is that we have an opportunity now to do things better. I don't have enough time. Let me finish.
Honorable, I've given it to him. I've given honorable both. Honorable both, yes.
But
the information is to me.
To me to accept.
The information is to me. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You are breaching the rule.
Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, the honorable members asked in his submission that who are the people who signed the contract, the agreements. This same parliament
approved.
This same parliament in this parliament made investigation.
He's on procedure. No.
This parliament provided an investigation which took 2 years. And this parliament condemned those who signed that agreement. And this very buyout was a recommendation of parliament. And for the record, I was able to chair that committee. We had the Honorable Segona, we had Honorable Beta Mong, we had several people.
Amongi, not among.
Beta Mongi.
Yes.
Whatever it is,
can you conclude?
I have information that the president who chairs your cabinets actually directed people he has delegated to work on this thing some 3 years ago, since 2022. And many people slept on duty. That's why we are now in a situation of emergency, and everything is being done without, you can imagine all these documents, we received them yesterday. So how can a reasonable person be able to read? I read through these documents the whole night, and that's why I'm able to raise these issues.
Right Honorable Speaker, 2022, I was a Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, and therefore I've been attending cabinet. The directives that I know of from the President, at least to the Minister of Energy, is not to renew the concession of Umeme. That is the directive, not to renew. There was never a directive to review the concession, for which the member is proposing to amend at this tail end of the concession. Is the member of parliament in order to allege without substantiating, without laying on table the directives from the President?
Honorable, I am happy that some of you have been here longer than some of us. It was a resolution of this house that there should be a sale of Umeme, a buyout of Lumeme. That is one. Two, what Honorable Oguzli is saying is correct. That we slept on the job. We should have handled this thing long time ago. No.
Yeah, I think I'm correct because I have those minute extras. Because there are people we charge with responsibility, they should have done that work for us incrementally until now we would have known these are the figures. Why that information is important is
and you'll find, Minister, it may not be only you, it can also be all of us, even in Parliament, Auditor General, everybody. It is not one single person sleeping on the job. But we knew very well that there was going to be a buyout of this institution. So why didn't we do it?
Information, Right Honorable Speaker. It was not possible to come to this house any earlier because the terms of the agreement, which Honorable Anguzuli says he read, told us exactly at what point Umeme was, there is a process to be followed in the buyout. So you couldn't come any earlier.
Look, honorable members, Augustly, have you finished? Let him finish.
I want to inform the Attorney General that by the grace of God I've been here a little longer, And I have information that in 2011, this House actually resolved that this Omeme deal must be terminated. And government said then it was very expensive. So when the president says this thing must not be renewed, common sense would tell you that that he doesn't want to go ahead with it. And it doesn't work for the...
Honorable, you're not parliamentary.
Okay, I withdraw that statement. Let it be extracted on the record of Parliament. Okay, those who work for the people of Uganda would have sensed that if we are not moving ahead with this thing, it means it is going to end. How was it provided for? How was the ending provided for? They would have now done the right thing, which they delayed to do. So, Madam Speaker, I now want to lay the record of the letter of Auditor General on floor of this Parliament, and Auditor General has highlighted things he must do fast. It has to be error, because they are the regular. They have said the only amount of money you can pay Omeme, and they have verified the assets for that. If you go to that place, the asset will exist. That's why I was insisting the minister gives us asset register. They have said what we can pay Omeme can only be $127 million, and the letter is here.
Honorable Guzule,
Yeah.
I want you to distinguish between a payout plus a borrowing. And what you're raising on the amount is answered with a letter, a commitment which was given by Ministry of Finance. Yes, Tony?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2011, I was in this Parliament. And at that time, we really wanted government to terminate the contract of Omeme. But then government said it would be more expensive, like presented here. We needed to wait for about 7 years or so till that term comes to the end. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Guzuli is presenting the position of error on the amount they believe $127 million to be paid to Omeme for us to get them off. And I think from that position, while the committee recommends, okay, the document you have is saying, let us pass this, then we wait for the position of Auditor General. That should not be beyond about 190 million, and 190 something million, then we proceed, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Because let's trust, and we believe your office will ensure that no money is paid beyond what the Auditor General is saying. Then we proceed, because we have issues of time, Right Honorable Speaker. So I want to ask Honorable Members that at that time, Right Honorable Speaker, we had wanted to terminate Omeme's contract at any cost. But then we had to listen to government. Now we have reached there. We are now having a problem over a difference of about $50–60 million. I think this what should not drag us for long, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, you're going to bring the procedure matter. Don't worry, Sech. We agreed that before payment of any money to Omeme, it will be subjected to an audit. The figures from error will be subjected to an audit, and it is only the amount that the Auditor General approves is what will be paid to Omeme. Yes, there's a procedure matter.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I've been listening in, and I find that we are aberrating from the well laid down foundations of this House. When submission after submission is in breach of Rule 80, 1, 2, and 3 of our rules of procedure, we are proceeding in a manner that is so strange that I've never met and witnessed in this House. We are borrowing with open ends. We are legislating and determining in anticipation. Right Honorable Speaker, for this entire House to deliberate in anticipation of what will be and what will not be, and we are committing the millions of Ugandans who sent us here, Right Honorable Speaker. I had other issues to raise then, like particularly where the Attorney General waived the tax obligations out of this 190 when the taxpayers down there.
You will have to answer that.
But for this particular one, Right Honorable Speaker, to proceed by way of anticipation and to commit Ugandans and to say in future when this is realized then we shall pay this, I find it extremely floppy. I'll take it, Honorable Semju.
So the information I want to give you, Honorable Sechiko, we're here, the same government convinced us, some of us refused, when they came here waiving the same deadlines for Magola's factory. We said, do not pay any money until you have acquired shares in that factory. And that was the condition that was given by this parliament. Immediately the parliament passed, they went ahead and paid. Let him bring here, he committed, let him bring here a share certificate from that factory.
Right Honorable Speaker, I commit to bring here the documents showing that government has an interest in that factory.
Thank you.
Yes, I commit to bring documents.
I am talking about the day you paid.
The matter has been raised to me, and I am here. And Right Honorable Speaker, I am committing to bring documents here that to prove that government has shares in that factory, in that company.
You start with the day of payment, that I paid this day and the certificate we acquired on this day. That is the contention.
Right
you first paid and then started negotiating,
Right
because
Honorable.
you do not even know the value of the company.
Honorable.
So which part should I answer, Right Honorable Speaker?
No, it's just quarreling there. Search.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, can we have some order? Can we have some order?
Right Honorable Speaker. The discrepancy between 120 to 190 million US dollars is too huge for us to handle in a proper way. Can we respect our rules and then they will guide us at the exact amount when it is due, well audited, then we'll proceed. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll rise to support, but let us really be fair to ourselves and the country.
Thank you. Honorable Loeb.
Honorable Speaker, two things. One, we pressed and said government slept on the job. This was seen coming. The Attorney General stood up and said that government could not have come earlier. I disagree with that, because today is 20th. Why are you coming on the 20th? Why are you not coming on 30th? Which law says you could not have come several months earlier? Because we knew that 31st March was coming. You didn't get to know about it last week. So it is wrong, Attorney General, for you to say government could not have come earlier. No, we should have begun to process all of these matters, especially because there are critical components. For example, the Auditor General on behalf of government and on our behalf, because the Auditor General is part of Parliament, was meant to do a thorough audit so that that informs us to know what is due to Umeme in exactness. But that has not happened. That's why we're saying we should have begun this whole process a lot earlier. Just hold on. You see, when you read the law, and Attorney General, I would like that we excogitate the law a little bit here. Section 36, subsection 5 of the Public Finance Management Act provides for how loans get to be processed by Parliament. The only exceptions are two, among others actually. One, government securities. The other is where government is managing a monetary policy question. The Minister of Finance deals with that without having to come here. But for such a loan, Parliament has got to approve in exactness. I want to be helped to understand. I have seen that commitment letter, which has been tabled here. Minister of Finance is saying that let's pass 190.9 million US dollars, assuming it is discovered that what is due to Umeme is 150 million US dollars. As an example, you'll only give them 150. I don't know what you'll do with the other. Does that then not mean that the Minister of Finance has taken over our responsibility as Parliament to approve? Because we approve, we are meant to approve loans in exact terms. What happens if it is more than 190? So you cannot say that Parliament passed 190, then I will discover, if it is less, I'll give them the less. Then you will be the one appropriating and not Parliament. And that's why we should have begun these processes earlier so that we know in exact terms which is which. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, I honestly, I'm hard pressed to believe the Minister of Finance here when he commits to us that you give me the 190. If I discover I'm meant to give them less, I'll only give them that part. Because, and examples have been given, this minister has promised us here and not fulfilled. I went to Day Biopharma with colleagues. Which government promised us here? You pass the money. We are going to make sure the MOU is in place, the share certificate is in place, and so on. You went and you gave them money before availing the MOU and the share certificate. When we went there, after they had already received the money, they said we are still working on the MOU. So you told us a lie here. You did not fulfill your commitment. When you said, give me the money, I'll hold on to it until we make sure the MOU is in place. They received the money before the MOU is in place. Why should you believe you now? When you say, give me the entire 190. If I discover what is due to Umeme is less, I'll only give them that bit. We don't trust you anymore.
No, but we need to learn to trust ourselves. Okay, Rod?
Madam Speaker, I need to finish. Because I was being interrupted and I hadn't finished. So having established that the committee has not done a cost-benefit analysis, because everything been talked about, penalties, what is just speculation. Why? They have not told us the other story, side of the story.
It is not speculation because it is in the agreement.
Okay, let's say it's in the agreement. When they do cost-benefit analysis, they are supposed to give us the opportunity cost. If we don't pursue that line, what will be the cost to Uganda? If we ask the Attorney General to go and talk to Umeme, you give us maybe a month or two within which we will resolve, because amendment is provided for. And those are all issues I'd invited the Attorney General to respond to, including exploring why we cannot pursue the liquidity facility. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I want to move this House. I want to move a motion without notice that you reject this request until these matters are reconciled. And then the minister comes with something which is well packaged so that we do not look ugly as a house. I beg to, okay, you can amend, because I'm moving that we reject the request. If you want to amend
Honorable Kiror.
So let this be disposed of so that we can move.
Honorable Kiror, that's not how they do with the reports. Reports are informative. Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to put it on record that I'm not standing up to second the motion of my colleague Guzuli. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand, which all of us agree that as of necessity, there's need for Umeme buyout. As of necessity. I've been fortunate enough to listen that this has been a journey. We cannot castigate blame. It has now come to us as the members of parliament sitting in the 11th parliament today. Right Honorable Speaker, a communication was made through the Minister of Finance. And the communication is through a letter that was written to the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament. There's work which is supposed to be done by the Auditor General, who can give, but there's a commitment that the sums to be paid out cannot be beyond what has been presented by the Auditor General. Honorable colleagues, I want to appeal to all of you. Sometimes it gets a bit so sticky. As a nation, if we moved beyond 30th, do we think that we can commit our citizens to beyond what we think is more than little compared to beyond the 30th? We have a duty. This parliament carries out checks and balances. The same Minister of Finance will get back to this house, and we are duty bound to watch over it. I want to appeal to all of us that if we can agree to pass this amount so that we are not caught off guard in the buyout, because these are contractual. As we talk, Umeme could be having a demobilization. So we're going to plunge the country into a crisis beyond the 30th. I want to appeal to all of us that we should be able to pass this, and whatever money submitted is beyond what is supposed to be, is something part of the loan which can be cancelled. I beg to submit that, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Okay, Faith? Faith?
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker. I am here to support what Honorable Bosco Okiror has said. As members have submitted, and from the benefit of information that has come from historical members of this House, they recommended a buyout. And it was for the good of the country. A colleague here was saying that he nearly lost his parliamentary seat over the Umeme discussion many years ago. Right Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General has asked for time, and I would beg that we do not pressure the Auditor General. He gives the assurance to government. So in giving the assurance, we need to give him what he needs to be able to get the reliable evidence on which to get the value that Ugandans should be happy with. But Right Honorable Speaker, the committee was struggling between 127 million versus 190 million. To be honest, if I was in that committee, I would have proposed that we go by the lower value already, straight away, because of the spirit of prudence. It's common knowledge that you always go. But because they were afraid to go for the lower value, the Auditor General must do work. I am comforted with the letter that was written to you. Gladly, Right Honorable Speaker, you allowed that letter to be read in this House. So it's no longer a letter to you. It is a letter to Parliament, where the ministry is committing not to pay. I want to read the paragraph that gives me some comfort. The third paragraph says, once the loan is approved by Parliament, government will only pay out to Umeme the amount verified and approved or recommended by the Auditor General as the payment due to Umeme before the end of 31st March 2025. If the required, please listen to this statement. If the required payment is lower than the eventual amount verified and or recommended by the Auditor General, then the balance of the loan will be cancelled, and the cancelled portion will not form part of the government debt. Right Honorable Speaker, let me remind the House on the stakes, because it appears no one knows the stakes. We think we have the luxury.
Honorable Tebandeke, leave Honorable Faith to speak. When you are speaking, she did not echo you. When you are learning your law on the floor, she did not say anything. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Unfortunately, the stakes have not been adequately articulated here. What we are set to lose as a country. Of course, Right Honorable, you have rightfully said, some people slept on the job, and now we have this emergency. We have very few days on which to make a decision. There is interest that is going to accrue that the taxpayers of Uganda will pay on account of Parliament delaying a decision. Are we going to carry that burden that we will incur the 10%, the 20% for delaying to honor the agreement? We were not here when the agreement was signed. I am sure the people who sat in this house okayed it, and they okayed it for the country.
Thank you.
The stakes are many, including the blackouts in the whole country. You will come here, honorable members, to ask again for an action. And government will say, we brought the document to Parliament and Parliament delayed. In fact, if the executive did not bring this, I would be comfortable. But now that they have brought it, let's return the risk to the executive. The Parliament cannot carry the burden on behalf of the executive.
Honorable Katuntu. Tinka, Sechi. Honorable Katuntu, Honorable Mutembule.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker. Colleagues, in circumstances like this, we need to listen to each other. I appreciate the anger. And any well-meaning Ugandan will appreciate the anger. But what is the cause of the anger? Let us diagnose where the problem is. All of us know, and I'm sure the landed Attorney General knows, that that concession was badly negotiated. It is basic. All these problems you are seeing is because of bad negotiation. And the reason can only be two: incompetence or bad manners, or both. Bad manners is also about collusion or corruption. But we are committed to an agreement. We are committed to an agreement. And once you get committed to an agreement, lawyers call it legal obligations. We have legal obligations. And we need to examine the obligation we have under that very unfair agreement. If we breach those obligations, what happens? That is the opportunity cost I think Oguzili was talking about. What is the consequences of us breaching the legal obligations of that agreement? Because the agreement is bad. Don't even bother yourself to... We have debated this, and indeed we debated it when the both committee brought that their report. We debated this in detail. In detail. And between now and the last day, we have 8, how many days? 9 days. less than 10 days, where we must sort out all this mess. Is it possible to sort out this mess in the 9 days? And two, it is not a wish, but we are talking about professional sorting out the mess. Whether it is possible for the Auditor General to bring a report here on the 28th. Did he ask up 28th? 28th, and we will have 2 days within which the Minister of Finance.
Honorable Katuntu, 28th will be a Saturday, a Friday. 29th will be a Saturday. 30th will be a Sunday.
So really, we have no time. And to me, and I really implore upon you, colleagues, let us look at the consequences of the decision we are about to make. To the people of Uganda, the people of Uganda got a road deal. Are we going to continue in that road deal? Are we going to continue wasting good money? It is not reasonable on our part. We must cut our losses, and now. We must cut our losses, and now. And let the minister tell us, actually the chairman of the committee, in figures, if we don't perform our obligation according to the contract by 30th, the first payment, what percentage do we talk about?
10%.
10%. And the 10% of the worst case scenario is $19 million. $19 million. We are not joking with small money. And we cannot be emotional when we are talking about serious public issues. 19 million. I'll take the information.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The penalties we will pay just to, yes, if we fail to pay by the 31st, it will be 10% for the first 30 to 45 days, 15% 46 to 90 days, and 20% after 91 days.
First of all,
information. You sit. You sit. Sit. You sit. You're a member of the committee. Yes, Haji.
So the first is 10%, and it is incremental. And the worst case scenario is $19 million. Why are we paying the $19 million? Because we are blaming people who have sat on their job. And because they have sat on their job, the taxpayer pays $19 million is close to 35 billion shillings. Colleagues, I think...
Honorable colleagues, please listen.
Actually, it's more than 35 billion. So to me, it comes to almost 70 billion. Almost 70 billion. And that's the sort of money we are talking about. Colleagues, we now need to see what can we do seriously about people who didn't do their job or who did their job badly. That's what we should be looking at. As far as the contract is concerned, I thought our rules are very clear when somebody is speaking.
Yes.
I am a little bit informed, Honorable Otala, please. And I'm sure you know I'm informed. So, colleagues, the anger we should direct it to the correct people. And we can fold it up. We can really fold it up. Who did what? Who sat on what? And we can take any decision to have those people account. But as far as the contracts are concerned, let us not breach the contract deliberately, knowing the consequences.
I
thank you, Right Honorable.
Honorable Mutembule, there is a motion.
Thank you very much.
There is a motion.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I stand to move a motion that we support the initial motion raised on this table by the Right Honourable Minister of Finance.
By the Minister of Finance.
By the Minister of Finance, in order for us to back and support the loan, which has, to approve the loan, and we disregard the committee report which has been brought to this House. Thank you.
Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Faith, by Max, by Ogwang, by Okiror, by both, by Okumu, by Ayo, Dr. Mushemesa, Ibanda, Kilak.
Madam Speaker, there is no motion. He has just said we support.
He put a motion that you didn't finish your motion. He finished the motion. You're only being biased. You repeat it.
The motion is that we support the initial motion put on the table by the Minister of Finance, and we disregard the committee report so that we process the loan and we pass it.
Seconded. Yes. And it is still seconded by both passes. Honorable Internal Affairs, Okumu, Alanyo, Ibanda, Apoloto, Ochwa, Shema, Lira, Apache, Max, Arua, Noah. Honorable members, Orone, Joanne, Mariam, Kumi Municipality, Susan, Dr. Player, Nekesa, honorable members, there is also Nabila Tuk. Honorable members, I am still putting the question. Was there no motion? Attorney General, was there no motion?
I had a motion that they
Who is
support
the motion?
the motion by the minister to approve the loan and disregard the report. That's the motion I had.
Are you on a motion?
Yes.
Madam Speaker.
Lee, don't really. Lee? Yes.
I move that the motion. Yeah. I move, Right Honourable Speaker, I move that the question be put on the motion by the minister in regards to the loan amount which has been brought to the House. A motion which is a motion to borrow up to euro equivalent of US dollars 190,988,566 from Stanbic Bank for the Omeme Limited buyout. Thank you.
Seconded. The seconders will still be there. Orone, Maxi, Noah, Maureen, Peter, Namganza, Okumu, Ogwang. Honorable members, I put a question at the motion for a resolution of Parliament to authorize government to borrow up to euros equivalent of USD 190,998,556 from Stanbic Bank for the Umeme Limited buyout be approved by this House with amendments. With the amendments, those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Next. Next.
Item 7 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament to support the deployment of the Uganda People's Defence Forces in the Republic of South Sudan under the Memorandum of Understanding on Defence Cooperation and Status of Forces Agreement executed between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan.
Honorable members, as you may be aware, our neighbors in the Republic of South Sudan are currently faced with some civil unrest for which our troops, the UPDF, have been invited to help with the stabilization of the situation. I want to invite the minister to move the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to support the deployment of the Uganda People's Defence Forces in the Republic of South Sudan under the Memorandum of Understanding on Defence Cooperation and the Status of Forces Agreement executed between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan.
Say, Chinga, you're disturbing us.
Right Honorable Speaker, I move under Section 39 of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act, Cap 330, and Rule 59(1)K of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament, of this Parliament. Whereas Article 210D of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda mandates Parliament to make laws regulating the Uganda People's Defence Forces, including the deployment of troops outside Uganda. And whereas Section 39 of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act provides that where troops are to be deployed outside Uganda under multilateral or bilateral arrangement with other countries, the minister shall enter into a status of forces agreement with the host country or organization. Noting that on the 10th of January 2014, the Republic of Uganda, in accordance with Section 39 of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act, entered into a Memorandum of Understanding on Defence Cooperation and the Status of Forces Agreement with the Republic of South Sudan relating to the deployment of the Uganda People's Defence Forces on the territory of South Sudan, aware that there is a security-related development in the Republic of South Sudan which is likely to result into serious negative security implications for Uganda and has potential to create a ripple effect on the economic, social, and political stability of Uganda, the region, and Africa at large. Further aware that on 10th of March 2025, in accordance with the Memorandum of Understanding on Defence Cooperation and Status of Forces Agreement, His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, requested His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for urgent military support in order to avert a potential security catastrophe in South Sudan, noting that following the request by His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda has, in accordance with Article 98(1) of the Constitution and Section 39(1)(b), 38(1)(b), and 39 of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act, deployed the Uganda People's Defence Forces in the Republic of South Sudan in order to avert a security catastrophe in the region. Appreciating that the deployment of the Uganda People's Defence Forces in South Sudan has previously enabled and will continue to enable the stabilization of security, peace, enforcement, protection of lives, and prevention of further escalation of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, which is beneficial to Uganda, the region, and Africa at large. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Parliament of Uganda supports the deployment of the Uganda People's Defense Forces in the Republic of South Sudan under the Memorandum of Understanding on Defense Cooperation and the Status of Forces Agreement executed between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to move.
Seconded. Seconded. Seconded by Honorable Olanya Gilbert, by Gerald, by Emmanuel, by Nancy, by Lamwaka, by Amero, by Mariam, by Joan, by Wakas, Odero, Tusime, Okot, Kumi Municipality, Mbwa, Honorable Mbwa, Honorable Yusuf Butaleja, Busia, Acrobat, Ik, Honorable Kasolo. I always fear mentioning your name. Honorable Akamba, Honorable Moma, Honorable Tony, Honorable Kabong, Karenga,
Karenga.
Sechi, Honorable Sechi, Honorable Muze Kagabo, Honorable Ivanda, Honorable Esther, Nekesa, Alanyo, Okwalinga, Okumo, Wilson, Abim, Elders, the General, by the whole side of this side. Can you second speak to your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members of this House, early March of this year, fighting started at the Ethiopian border of South Sudan in Nasiri. His Excellencies Salva Kiir, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, made a formal request seeking for urgent support of our forces following that conflict. Consequently, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, deployed, and the Commander-in-Chief deployed the Uganda People's Defense Forces for a peace enforcement mission. Right Honorable Speaker, the President's decision was based on the mandate given to him by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, and the Uganda People's Defense Forces Act as quoted in the motion. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the President's decision to deploy UPDF, Uganda People's Defense Forces, to South Sudan was also based on Uganda's commitment to patriotism, nationalism, and Pan-Africanism. Uganda also has a long-standing role in safeguarding the lives and property of Ugandans and Africans at large through strategic military interventions in various countries across the continent of Africa. Right Honorable Speaker, the deployment of the UPDF in South Sudan was also done in a spirit of brotherhood, solidarity, security of Uganda, and the economy, as well as the shared historical and regional ties between Uganda and South Sudan. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members of this House, I therefore request this August House to support this motion for a resolution Parliament to support the deployment of our troops in the Republic of South Sudan. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Oboth. First, second, you first wait.
Thank you.
Wilson, you'll second, don't worry. Let me first hear from the neighbor, because he's a neighbor to South Sudan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, rightly you put it, my district borders South Sudan. And putting politics aside on this matter, Honorable Speaker, anyone who comes from the north, especially Acholi and West Nile, would highly support the deployment of the UPDF inside South Sudan. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to explore our colleagues from this side. The majority may not be knowing what is going on. Our brothers from South Sudan, they are quite merciless. It seems they are not all that professional in handling guns.
Honorable,
The way
Honorable, to avoid other issues, diplomatic issues, let's be fair in whatever we say for diplomacy.
Thank you.
And I want to request members that I will not allow a lot of debate on this matter for the sake of the safety of our members out there and for the sake of our relationship with that country. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the guidance. Right Honourable Speaker, I welcome your guidance, but for the sake of peace of the people of Uganda, especially those ones from northern Uganda, and those ones who are carried on businesses in South Sudan, let us support the deployment. The deployment is for the betterment of our country. Therefore, I explore our colleagues, let us highly support, and as a country, peace in South Sudan will mean peace in our country as Uganda.
Thank you, thank you. Honorable members, I am very, very mindful of the issue of security, issue of diplomacy, issue of our relationship. I now want to put a question that the motion for a resolution of Parliament to support the deployment of the Uganda People Defense Forces in the Republic of South Sudan under the Memorandum of Understanding on Defense Cooperation and status of forces agreement executed between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of South Sudan be adopted by this House. Those in favor say the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. House adjourned, stand down.